What's good, family? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm bringing you guys a video requested by one of my supporters. He goes by the name of Malcolm White. Shout out to you, Malcolm White. I really appreciate you sending in that video request. It means a lot to me. I appreciate the comment that you wrote out to me in general. It's one of the nicest comments that I ever received doing YouTube. So I really appreciate it, man, for putting the battery in my back, for giving me the motivation, and for giving me an idea to record a video about. So I appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. Without further ado, let's talk about it. The video topic of the day is being street smart, why it's important to have street smarts as a man. And to be honest, it's not only just about being a man, it's about anybody. You know, it applies to anyone, anyone who may resonate with what I'm saying, anyone who is watching this video and it feels like I'm speaking to you. This is for you. So I'm going to go based off of my experiences, based off of what I've lived through. I can't speak on anyone else's experiences. I can't speak on, what anyone else has done or what anyone else's perception of this is. I can only speak on what I've done. And I'm 22 years old, so I would say I've experienced a good bit of life, enough to be able to share it with you guys. Especially within these past 4 years, I feel like I've experienced a lot of stuff just in the outside world, with turning 21, being able to go out to the bars. Now, I'm not a drinker myself personally because I have what's called psoriasis. It's like a skin condition, and it gets really bad when you drink, so I can't drink at all. That's why I tend to stick with the other option. But yeah, I've experienced some life, and what I could say is that when it comes to being street smart, a lot of it is just being very intuitive. A lot of it is being aware of your surroundings. And in the same breath, a lot of your street smarts and your way of thinking and a lot of maybe your decisions that you make are all going to be based off of experiences. So first things first, you have to have some sort of experience with being in the street, I don't even want to, because for my generation, there's such a common misconception that the word street has to apply to being in the ghetto or being in the worst freaking neighborhood possible. Yes, it kind of means that, but it can just apply to any sort of area, to any sort of street, to any sort of neighborhood that you want to call it. I'm not just saying, oh, you have to have experience in being in the street. You got to have experience in being in the ghetto, because if you don't, then you're not going to make it out here. Like, I don't want to come up here and sound like I'm trying to, what's the word? Glamorize or glorify being in the street, because it's not something to be proud of, honestly. It's something that you have to learn because you don't have a choice, because that's the situation and environment that you're in. So a lot of it is based off experience, and a lot of it has to do with what you have experienced in the past, what you're experiencing now, and what you've experienced in your life thus far. So if you haven't even pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, if you haven't even pushed yourself out of your own house to go outside in the real world and to go out in the streets and to have these experiences, then you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know how to act. You're not going to know how to carry yourself, how to present yourself to people and others. Like, you're just going to be lost out here. So first things first is to have experience. So that means that if you're young and you're watching this, you're 18, you're 19, 20, 21, get out in the real world and have some experiences, man. Go out to the city, go to a restaurant, go to like a nice little place of interest, whatever is in your local city, whatever is in your local town. Get out there, explore the world, you know, meet some people, go out with friends, like do all those things, man. Especially if you're at a young age, if you're at the age where you can do this and you are allowed a little more leeway to be out later and to go out on the weekends, and you know what I mean, like you should want to be out there with the people. You should want to be out there experiencing life. Now, what I said there, right? You should want to be out there with the people. That's first and foremost. You don't necessarily have to be out with the people, like in the crowd, with all the static, with all the noise, because a lot of the times that's where problems occur. That's where you run into these situations, and you run into, you know, you hear the news and there's someone's manifesto and they're going around killing people. Like, it's usually gonna be where those large crowds are. So the first things first, if you're going out to the streets and you are experiencing this light nightlife or what the world has to offer, first thing I want to tell you is you do not have to be where all the people are. For an example, you're at the bar. I'm going to use me as an example. I'm at the bar. When I'm at the bar, I'm not at the bar for longer than 30 minutes at a time. I go in there with my friend. He gets his drink. We'll chop it up. We'll meet some people. We'll see some locals that we grew up with in high school. We'll chop it up with them, dap them up, you know, shoot the shit, woo, 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 and then we bounce. We go to the next bar, same difference. And we're not with a bunch of people. We're not like in the crowd. We're not on the dance floor. We're on the, you know, the outskirts. We're I hate to admit this, but we're the guy leaning on the wall with a drink in her hand, bobbing her head. We're not looking at everybody and creeping on them, or we're not, you know, looking at the girls and creeping on them while they're dancing. We're just doing our own thing. We're having a time. We're having a blast. We're enjoying ourselves. We're having talks, and then we move on. Like, you don't have to be with all the people. There's a way, and this is what I'm trying to explain to you. There's a way to go out and to experience all these things without being in the actual crowd, without being in the actual eye of the storm. I'll say it that way. Because like I said, a lot of times that's where these problems happen. So yeah, for me, you know, like I said, I stay on the outskirts. I do my thing. Me and my buddy, he finishes drink, and then we'll move on. We'll go to the next bar and rinse, wash, repeat. And that whole entire night that we're out, we're not, you know, walking with a large crowd of people. We're not in the middle of a large crowd of people on the dance floor. We're not, you know, bumping shoulders with people. We're not causing havoc. We're not, you know, bumping into people and they're spilling their drinks. Like, none of that is happening whenever we go out, because we know how to carry ourselves. We know how to approach these type of situations, and that is because of experience. So yeah, that's the first thing that I want to tell you. It's not necessary for you to be in the crowd all the time. It's like, I'll give you an example. You go to a music festival, or you go to a concert, you know, you go to any of those sort of events. Me, I'm not in the mosh pit. Hell no, I'm not in the mosh pit. Especially me, I'm a short dude. I'm like 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. I'm not gonna be in no mosh pit. I'm not gonna be jumping with the crowd. I'm up in the nosebleeds. I'm enjoying the show from up there. I'm looking down on everyone, everything. You know, I'm enjoying the show. I'm on the outskirts. Again, like I'm trying to say, you don't have to be in the crowd with everyone. You can be in the outskirts. You can be watching everybody. And that brings me to my next point about building street smarts, is that when you are out, when you're in these experiences, when you're in these situations, you want to take advantage of your situational awareness. You want to take advantage of your critical thinking. You want to take advantage of your observation skills. So really observe your surroundings. Really observe how people are behaving. Really observe how people are acting. You know, for an example, before I go there, really observe just everything around you. When you go into a place, try to find the closest exit. Keep that in the back of your mind. Try to feel the vibe of the room. Try to feel out the environment. Try to observe, the what I like to call the temperature of the room. If there's a lot of drunk people, you want to, be wary. You want to stay clear of those people. And you might even want to think about leaving that place earlier. If you hear a bunch of people get loud, or you're hearing a bunch of arguments kind of close by, keep that in the back of your mind too. Maybe you want to leave a little bit earlier. Maybe you want to move a little further from those people. For an example, I'll use myself an example again. There's been times we'll go out to the bar and we'll hear a bunch of people arguing, or we'll hear voices just getting louder, commotion building, and that's when we'll say, like, all right, dude, it's probably our time to go. And then what ends up happening is we leave, and then come to find out 5 or 10 minutes later, there's people getting dragged out the building, getting put in the back of cop cars. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be aware of your situation. You got to be observant of the people you're around, of the type of environment that you're in, because if you're in the wrong moment at the wrong time, that could be your ass, So observe your surroundings. Observe how people are acting. If there's a lot of commotion, if there's a lot of people drinking, if there's people acting wild, keep in mind that you probably want to leave that place as soon as possible. So yeah, being aware of how other people are acting around you is very critical as well. Now let's talk about when you're alone. When you're alone out in the world and you're experiencing these situations, the best way to carry yourself, at least for me, is, head up. Always keep your head up. Always keep your chin up. Look forward. You don't have to make eye contact with anybody. It's not very necessary, but if you want to, you can just, do a nod, keep walking. Don't have your phone out. Keep your money secured. Keep your everything in your pockets. Don't look at, I always tell my friend this, because for him, he's never really grown up in the city, or he's never really been out in the real world that much, and I'm getting him used to that. And I always tell him, bro, like, you don't want to look at anyone too long, or you don't want to be interested in, like, for an example, if we're walking past something and you hear two people arguing, you don't want to walk past and, like, stare at them. Like, no, bro, you want to keep walking and don't stare at them at all. You want to pretend like you didn't even hear what's going on. You want to pretend like you're not even there. You want to pretend like they didn't even see you. Just keep walking. Don't be too interested in someone else's business. Don't pay attention too long to someone else's business. Just keep your head forward and just keep walking. And honestly, that'll save you a bunch. Like, as long as you're walking straight, your chin up, and hell, I'll even tell you, like, you could even walk a little fast. Like, all the time, like, whenever I see someone walking fast in general, that usually tells me that they're in a rush, or that they don't want to be bothered, and they're trying to get to their destination quick. So if you're walking out in the streets alone, if you're walking somewhere alone, you could have that fast walk, really moving. So people are not going to bother you. So people are going to be like, oh, he's in a rush, he's going somewhere. That just tells everybody, like, universally, that you're in a rush, that you don't want to be bothered, you're doing your own thing, and, you're just moving. So that's definitely some advice that I would give you when it comes to being alone. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. And even if you're spoken to, you don't have to respond, because they're not calling you by their name. They're probably gonna just say yo, or what you doing, or like where you from. Like, don't answer any of those questions. You don't have to answer nobody. You can just keep walking, keep moving. If they ask you, you can just say no habla inglés. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to answer anyone. You don't have to talk to anyone. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. And even when you're spoken to, you don't have to respond. So yeah, with that out the way, I'm trying to think of anything else that you really want to learn or, keep in the back of your mind as you're moving out in these streets. Again, I'm not trying to say that to justify this or to glorify this topic or make it seem cool. I'm just trying to share my experiences for someone who may have not been in these experiences. But as far as like transportation, well, again, I guess this wouldn't really count because we're talking about actually being in the street, like your person, your body walking around. But for cars, like if you're in a car, don't stop for anybody. I always like to keep a steering wheel lock with me. One of those hook things that hook into the wheel. Um, you know, Tint your windows if you want. That's fine. That's cool. Keep your you can keep a, what am I trying to say? You can keep a dash cam if you want. I haven't bought one yet, but I do want to get one eventually. You can get that. That would be cool. Trying to think, man, what else? I'm trying to think of like stories that I may have had in the past or situations that I may have been in the past. Yeah, I mean, man, honestly, if you mind your business and you just, keep your mouth shut and your eyes open and you respect people's space and you respect people and you are just doing your thing and you're not bothering anyone and you're not looking at anyone funny, and like, bro, as long as you're doing those things, like, no one's gonna bother you. No one's gonna try to, rob you or take advantage of you. And even if they do, like, you should keep in the back of your mind that no stranger wants to help you. Like, no one's gonna try to help you. No one's gonna try to be nice to you. Like, so be wary of that too. Like, if someone's trying to help you or if someone's trying to take advantage of you, do not let that happen. Walk away immediately. And that would be another good advice too, like walking away. That would be the one of the best advice that you could take away from this video. Learning when to walk away. Learning when to pick up on the signs of, oh shit, it's time to get out of here, So if you know when it's time to get out of there, if you know it's time to leave, you'll be fine, man. Like I said, a lot of this street smarts that you build within yourself and within throughout time, it's going to come through experiences. It's going to come through you actually putting yourself out there to have these experiences. So there's only so much that I can really say or tell you. At the end of the day, you have to go out there and experience it for yourself. So I think that would probably wrap up this video. I feel like I've said pretty much everything that I wanted to say. To conclude this video, to wrap everything up, to generalize everything, it just comes down to being self-aware, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, having discernment, staying out of people's way, staying out of the large crowds, staying on the outskirts. You can have fun and not be in the crowd. You can be in the outskirts. You can enjoy, the whole experience without actually being in the eye of the storm. Don't be too fucked up. Don't be too drunk. And if you are planning to be too drunk or be too fucked up, have a DD. Don't pay too much attention to other people's business. Keep your head up. Keep walking. Secure your belongings. Don't, walk with your phone out. And just be smart, be respectful. That's all it really comes down to. So yeah, I'll wrap it up like that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you again to Malcolm White for requesting this idea. I really do appreciate you sending this one in. Means a lot to me. Like I said, man, you know, trying to get myself off the ground again with this channel and trying to be more consistent with uploading. The fact that I had you send in a topic and an idea, it means the world, man. It really helps me. I promise you it really does, because it's hard to come up with ideas sometimes. Or maybe I have an idea, but maybe I don't want to execute it because I don't think people will really like what I have to say about it. So I really appreciate it, man. Honestly, again, it puts the battery in my back. It gives me motivation. So thank you, Malcolm. Can't thank you enough. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you want to add anything to this video, add anything to what I said, feel free to do so. But thank you guys for watching. Peace, love, positivity. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. Peace.